YouTubers, Brian Proctor here again, and today I thought I'd come to you with another review. Now, these things here are called they're made by Pental. They're Pental Art Aquash Water Brushes, and these things are pretty good because they're watercolor brushes. Basically, you probably can use them for not acrylic paint, but the tempera paint too. But they're watercolor brushes, and the thing is, what you do is you take them and you fill them with water. So the water actually, you turn it over, the water actually comes out of the brush. You squeeze it to give the right amount of water that you might want. Now these are a hop, skip, and a jump from the old brushes from the old days, because when you wanted to do a watercolor painting, you had to take your paint, some rags, and some kind of a jar of water to wash your brushes off every time. And whoever thought about this was sheer genius, because all you have to do is you turn it upside down. Let me show you real quick. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. And you squeeze it and the water drips out. So there's no need to carry, basically a rag or, a jar of water of any kind, because once you do get paint on the brush, you can actually squeeze it and the paint will actually run off. And that is a great thing for people that like to go outside and paint. Now, these things from Amazon, these things are actually $13.50, for a set of three, which is pretty good. You get the 3 brush tips, you get the small, medium, and large. And I've had these things for about a year now, so they come like this. I've never used this one. They come white like this, and then after time they do stain a little bit. I think this is the workhorse, but it's going to take a long time before it actually stains. And this one, I've been using a lot of dark colors on this one too. But these things are 6 inches tall. I couldn't tell you how much water they hold, but the one great thing is they hold a point. No matter how much you use it, you hold that point. And the old brushes, like these things here, these things, after a while, you have to worry about the hair actually coming off on your painting. It wears out and they don't hold a point. Well, these things, as I said, I've had them for years, about a year, and it still holds the point. So it's a wonderful thing. So let me show you how these things work. I bought this set, and I've always been afraid to do watercolor. Watercolor was my enemy, because I think out of all the mediums, watercolor was the hardest to control. And this set came with this brush, which I've never even used before. So, because I've got these, so that's a wonderful thing. So let's sit down and let's do this eye that I drew up real quick. And it's smudged up a little bit because I started erasing before the ink was actually dry, but don't mind that. So all you have to do when you go out or when you want to paint, and it's less messier than doing, like I say, the old school way. You just squeeze some water. Let's do a blue. You squeeze it out, a few drops of water into your colors that you might want to use. And then mix it around. And it's good because when you're actually painting, you can squeeze at the same time to release the amount of paint that you have. If you want a lot of paint, you wouldn't squeeze. If you want just a little bit of paint, you can just squeeze it out. And an easy way to clean your brush, if you have water in there, you just squeeze that a little bit and just start wiping it off the brush. Squeeze some more water out, wipe it off the brush, and eventually you have a clean brush. And they don't leak. You can take it around with you. You have the cap on it. It will not leak on you. So let's do this real quick. This is not meant to be an art tutorial, but let's just throw some color on it to show you. And it's good because, like the old brushes, your point always stays pointy. Let's get rid of some of this paint and take it down to a light. And see, I was afraid that this ink that I put on here, if it got wet, it might come off. And it looks like it might be doing that right now. But they're good. They have that flat shape to it. So when you put it down, it won't roll around and you won't have to bend it down, picking it up off the ground, trying to rewash it off. So that's a good thing. And they're very soft and squeezable, shall we say. Let's see, and it does hold on to the paint quite well. And this is, as I said, it's not meant to be a coloring tutorial, just showing you how the brushes work. And this is the fattest brush here. Let me add a little green to this just because. And as I said, watercolor was always my enemy because it was always messy. I was afraid to use it or take it anywhere for that reason. But with these brushes, it makes it a lot easier, a lot less messier to go any place with it. And this ink is coming off, so I'm not going to go too far on this thing, because it's just a tutorial on the brushes, not about painting skills. Yeah, that's as far as I'm going to go on that, trying to do the painting. But I just wanted to let you guys know, as I said, you get a set of 3, which is really not bad. And as I said, these things, for a year I've had these things, and I just started using them more to do watercolors, and it's a lot cheaper than having to continue to buy things like magic markers, color pencils, and it's quicker when you do a watercolor with these brushes. So, you know, I truly recommend anybody that likes painting or wants to start getting into painting to buy this versus, you know, these brushes here, because these things, they get expensive, especially if you try to buy like a red sable brush. They get really expensive, and one, the wood wears out, they break, you lose them. But these, they're fat enough and big enough and bright enough that you won't lose them. And I have seen people actually take paint and they put it inside the little container here. That way they have the paint, the red, the yellow, the blues, and that's a good way to have to not carry a lot of paint around as well. So these things can be used in a number of different ways, a lot of great ways too. So I would say, if you had to buy, definitely look into this. And these, I couldn't tell you how much water they hold, but I have done a lot of big paintings with that, and I have never run out of water yet. So they hold a fair amount of water. So especially if you have 4 or 5 or 6 of these brushes, and at, you know, $13 for 3. I think they have sets of 5 now or more. You can continue to buy your set for like every color you need and just keep painting. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm glad somebody came up with this. So that's it for this quick review. Go out and buy one and try it for yourself, especially if you have kids that like to paint. Finger paint, watercolor paint, tempera paint. I think it would be great for that stuff. But finger paint is meant for fingers. But, you know, once you start doing brushes, that's a really good brush to have. All right, that is it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys in my next video. Guys, I got carried away with the review. I had so much on my mind that I didn't tell you some of the important parts. The way that you put water in it is you just unscrew it and you fill that up with water. And I said that the brushes are kind of I want to say plastic nylon type of material. And as I say, you can flick it and throw it around, but it will still maintain its point. So every time, even when it's not wet, it stays in the point. But when it gets wet, it goes back to a finer point. So I just wanted to say that, because as I said, my mind is on so much. And then when you do squeeze it, the water comes down through here and it comes out at the brush tip. So yeah, you can dilute your paint. You put it, or just, if you're doing a big watercolor picture, you would, before you paint, you can just wet your whole picture up using this brush, then go back and put your paint on it. Just a few items that I missed, and I probably missed a few more, but I'm kind of excited about doing this. So yeah, there you go. All right, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.